Welcome to The Excellent Way, a podcast where we have conversations about reframing the way you train, the way you eat, the way you sleep, and the way you think so that you can build the health you've always wanted so that you can live excellent. What is up, guys? Welcome to The Excellent Way podcast. I am your host, Brandon, aka Coach B around these gyms, and welcome back to the podcast that I started years ago and was just not consistent with it. And recently I had a coach challenge me to do a podcast and schedule it and be consistent with it. And so those are the things that I want to talk about with you guys on this first rebooted edition of The Excellent Way. We're going to talk about a challenge that I got from a coach, coaching, and consistency, and what those three things mean to your fitness journey and basically anywhere in life. So, for those of you guys who don't know, there are some older episodes, both on our YouTube and on this channel, where we've had some great conversations. The goal here is I want to be consistent. I've been doing fitness coaching for fitness, nutrition, mindset. I've been doing all of that stuff for over 20 years now. I've learned a lot, and I'm still learning every single day. And the goal with this is to bring to you guys all of those conversations, all of those thoughts that I have that could be helpful along your journey. And in relaunching this, I had a coach challenge me. He said, hey, as coaches, people look to us to push their lives forward. And what we need to do is leverage every platform we can to get that information out there, because there might be something that you say, and you might have said it 100 times, but now all of a sudden on 101st time, somebody gets it and they hear it and it clicks, and now their whole life is different because you finally said it 101 times instead of stopping on the 99th. So we're going to have a lot of conversations that are going to center around those, the main things that we try to teach in our gym, which is reframing how you train, how you eat, how you sleep, and how you think. And the think piece there is just mindset. How do you approach life? How do you approach your training? And how does that affect the decisions that you make? So let's go back to the first of these three C's. The first one is a challenge. Many of us got into our fitness journeys through some kind of challenge. There's a lot of folks in our gym that started CrossFit on a 6-week challenge, or a challenge with a friend, or a challenge at work where they were like, hey, I really want to win this challenge at work, and so I'm joining the gym so that I can win this challenge at work. And challenges are great to kickstart something or maybe restart something that we were doing before, hence this podcast. It's something that will get your feet out of the mud, so to speak, so that you can get moving. Once you get through that challenge, though, the question is, what do you do from there? Are you going to stay consistent? Because as much as a challenge can get you moving, it's the consistency long term that's going to make you better. And so that challenge can change you for sure. But if you want real long-term change, then you have to build consistency. And we're going to talk about that here in a minute. But how does that all relate to coaching? Well, it's easier to stay consistent, especially in the beginning, if you have a coach, if you have somebody there who is cheering you along, challenging you when you need to be challenged, pushing you when you need to be pushed, holding you back when it looks like, hey, that's too much right now. And having a coach is a great way to build up the kind of lifestyle that you want in whatever it is. Maybe you go get a business coach so you can get better at your business, a professional development coach so you can get better at your profession. Maybe it's a relationship coach so that you can build a strong relationship with your significant other. Maybe it's a fitness coach so that you can build better fitness. Maybe it's a nutrition coach so you can build better nutrition. What a coach does is essentially guide you along to make the decisions you know you need to make, but you just kind of need that extra voice to tell you, A, you can do this, to B, tell you if it's a good idea, and C, tell you when it's not a good idea. The idea behind a coach is not to tell you what to do, right? I can give you templates, I can give you guidelines, but essentially what a coach does is help you learn to make those decisions on your own. And then they're always there to check in and make sure that you're still making those good decisions as you travel along your journey. And so as a coach, that's my profession. I coach people for a living. One of the things that I have realized is I need a coach in the places where I fall short. And so hence the rebirth of this podcast. Even coaches need coaches. And so because I'm a big believer in leaders go first, that's what I'm doing. I've got some coaches alongside of me that are pointing me the right direction, and I've got some folks alongside of me cheering me on and checking in on me to make sure that I'm doing the things that I say that I want to do. Sometimes that starts with a challenge, which is what I'm doing right now. And maybe that's you. Maybe you need some kind of challenge. And so it's a great opportunity to talk to a coach and say, hey, I'm struggling here. Can we build a challenge to help me get through this? Right now in our gym, we just kickstarted a nutrition challenge that is going to help people. For a lot of people, it's learning for the first time really good nutrition habits. For some of us, it's checking back in with those things that we know are good for us, but have maybe fallen by the wayside. So a challenge can play both roles. A challenge can be the thing that gets you off the couch, but it's also a thing that can maybe get you unstuck and back into the things that you know you should be doing, the things you know make you feel good, they make you feel productive, they make you feel like you've got some kind of purpose or some kind of handle on your life. And a challenge for either of those people is it gives you an end goal, right? It's a 4-week challenge, 6-week challenge, 6-month challenge. Maybe it's a year-long challenge. I'm going to chug through this until I get to the end. No matter what the length of the challenge is, and no matter what direction you're coming at it from, it always serves this purpose of connecting or reconnecting you with what you said that you want to do, right? Those stated goals. And as you jump into those stated goals, what that is, hey, I have this idea in my head and I would like to go and accomplish that, right? So now you have this like will. I have the will to want to go and do that. And I'm going to use this challenge as a starting point for that will. As you go through that, though, there's going to be a lot of self-doubt and negative self-talk, and I don't know if I can do this, and man, this is getting really hard. And so once the will is there to initiate challenge, now you lean into the work. And as you go through that 6 weeks or 12 weeks or whatever the length of the challenge is, now you focus on the work. You focus on the path. You focus on the journey. Can I get there? Right? I have this challenge in front of me. Maybe I wrote down a bunch of like benchmarks that I want to hit along the way. Maybe I have some goals written down that I want to chase after and try to achieve through this challenge. But in the midst of the challenge, the only thing you can do is focus on the work. Those voices in your head are going to start to chirp up and say, hey, this is too hard, you're too busy, and it's going to give you every excuse in the book on why you can't continue with that challenge. That's where a coach comes in. A coach comes in and holds you accountable and reminds you like, hey, you didn't just do this for no reason. You did this because you wanted X, Y, and Z. Whatever those goals were, whatever those reasons were, coach is going to step in and remind you. So if you start a challenge, it's always good to have a coach. And sometimes that can just be a friend or a significant other, just kind of nudging you along and helping you remember, like, this is the reason why it was important. And sometimes it's an actual coach that you hire to get you through this challenge. And as you walk through that work and you have the coach there helping you along the way to get through those tough seasons of life and tough parts of the challenge, as you get through that and you start to build momentum, what starts to happen is you start to build a reputation with yourself that you're the kind of person who does the things they say they're going to do. And as you confirm that reputation with yourself, now you start to believe. Now you start to believe that, hey, I can actually do this thing. I can actually finish this challenge. I can actually achieve these goals. And it starts to reframe your brain on how you as an individual can become successful. And then you start to learn that, hey, to be successful, the most successful people in the world at whatever it is, don't always do it by themselves. In fact, few of them do. In fact, I don't know anybody that does it solely by themselves. They've always got people around them, cheering them on, holding them accountable, and maybe they've got coaches around them to help push them forward. So as you go through this, it feels like you're doing it alone. But that's why it's important to have coaches and have cheerleaders and have those people in your life that are going to hold you accountable so that you can step into, this is our third thing, consistency. Consistency trumps all of it. If you've got really great intensity over 1 or 2 or 3 days or weeks, awesome. And you may be able to put out a lot of volume there. But if you burn out, it just falls apart. And we've all done that with a weight loss journey, right? How many times have we jumped into a challenge where it's like, I'm going to do this nutrition challenge, I'm going to do this gym challenge, and you feel really great for 30 days, for 60 days, for 90 days. And then at the end of that challenge, you just kind of, all right, it's over and I'm done. And then you completely leave behind all of those habits that you learned during that challenge. And so the idea behind a challenge is not just the challenge itself. You have to think beyond the challenge. Remember, we're reframing how we think. And so if you think beyond the challenge, how do I build consistency beyond the challenge? How am I going to realistically do this in my everyday life? That's where you're going to start to win. So taking a challenge to get you started is a great idea. Okay, don't let anybody tell you. I'm starting to hear all these voices on the internet, these talking heads on the internet. It's like, oh, this challenge is bad for you, or oh, this challenge isn't it. You need to do this and that. A challenge is a great thing to get you off the couch or out of the mud, wherever you're stuck, to get you moving. If you end up as a part of that challenge, hiring a coach, you're just going to be more successful, because on the days you want to quit, your coach is there to make sure that you don't. And then beyond the challenge, a coach can also guide you into consistency beyond the challenge. And consistency is where winning is done. Let's just take, for example, our current nutrition challenge. We have a 6-week challenge going on right now. In 6 weeks, yeah, you're gonna lose a few pounds. You might even lose a little bit of body fat, but you're not going to completely alter your health in just 6 weeks. You can, though, build out some systems and some habits that can go beyond the challenge, that build you into consistency long term. And now all of a sudden, those nutrition habits that you built over 6 weeks during the challenge, now that 6-week challenge becomes a 6-month challenge, becomes a 12-month challenge. And now at the end of the year, you're a completely different, unrecognizable person because you were consistent. You didn't just take the intensity and hope it stuck. You took the intensity to learn good habits to take you on the long haul. And that's really what consistency is. Consistency is the long haul, right? It's passion and perseverance over the long haul so that you can get to the goal, whatever that goal is, however long it takes. And that's the last thing that I want to talk about. Consistency is not a as soon as possible kind of phenomenon. We live in a very fast-paced, instant gratification, instant everything society. We can pull up these videos on demand. We can DoorDash our food to us. We can pre-order it and run in and pick it up. You can have your groceries Instacarted to you. Like, everything happens unbelievably fast in the world we've built. And there's not anything in particular wrong with that. But if that's how you approach changing your life, you're going to get frustrated really, really quickly. And so it has to shift from a mindset of, I need to get this done as soon as possible, to, I'm going to work at this for as long as it takes, right? And so instead of as ASAP, it's ALAT, as long as it takes, okay? And so I want you to go from ASAP to ALAT in your mindset about how you take on actually changing your life. Start with a challenge. It's a great place to start. Get a coach and you'll be more successful in that challenge. And use that challenge to build the habits that's going to build consistency long term so that you can have whatever it is long term. Now, in our context, it's health, right? I need good nutrition and good exercise habits so that I can build long-term health. So use a 6-week challenge to do that. Use the 6-week challenge to learn and build habits and systems into your life so that you can reach that goal, and you're going to keep working for as long as it takes to get to that goal. Then what happens? Once I hit that goal, what do I do? Well, you can maintain the work that you've done, or you can set a new goal and then leverage all of those new things that you've learned into the new goal. It's how you continue pushing forward as a human being. It's how you continue to pursue purpose in your life instead of getting stuck in the dopamine overload that is scrolling through Instagram or TikTok or Facebook, or binge watching your favorite TV shows. Not that there's anything wrong with any of those in and of themselves, but those are things that are not going to provide purpose. They're going to provide distraction. They're going to provide entertainment in the moment. But long term, it's not going to give you fulfillment. It's not going to give you purpose. You'll find fulfillment and purpose in the things where you're like, hey, I want to go and do this thing. And then you put energy into building out that thing that becomes something that's life-changing for you. And that's really what this is all about, is creating a life that you want to live, not just kind of the one that's there. If you want to, and this is the conversation I have with people. When I started this gym because your health is arguably the most essential thing in your life. There's a quote that says, a well man wants 1,000 things. A sick man wants one thing: to be well. Because if you're not well, nothing else matters. If you're well, everything else is just that much more enjoyable. So if you can build your life on good, strong health and build fitness into your life, everything else, not just your physical activities, your relationships, your career, your hobbies, they all get better because you feel good. So if you can lay the foundation of a good, healthy physical life, everything else gets better. And the habits that you learn disciplining yourself physically with exercise and strong nutrition, those habits can bleed into every other thing that you want to improve in your life. Whether it's your relationships, it's your finances, it's your career, it's your hobbies, the things you learn taking care of the foundational thing in your life, your health, it will change your life in every other place. So, as you guys step into the rest of this year, we're almost in October. I'm recording this like 2 days before October 1st. And as you step into the last quarter of the year, what I want you guys to think about is going into 2026. What do I want my life to actually look like? You've got 3 months to figure that out and build some plans. And if you start doing that now, you're going to have a head start on everybody else that waits until January 1st to think about that. Maybe challenge yourself, maybe find a coach, and have a plan to build consistency beyond the challenge. That's what we're going to do with this podcast. Okay, leaders go first. This is something that I want to do to get all of the thoughts that happen in my brain that I think, man, I should say this to people so that they can improve their lives, because it's just living in my head. It's just what goes on in my head all the time. And so you're going to hear me say a lot of the same things over and over and over and over again. And one of these days, I'm going to say the same thing, but I'm going to say it just different enough. You're going to be like, oh, that's what he means. And I hope that happens for you. And so I'm taking on this challenge to do this podcast, not just with me. Like, a lot of these conversations are going to be just with me and you on this camera, on this podcast. Some of these conversations are going to be with folks from my gym, folks in the business world that I've connected with, my other coaches in my gyms. And we're going to have a conversation about how you can build the life that you want so that you can live excellent. That's it, guys. That's it. The end of the first episode of the Excellent Way podcast, the first reboot episode anyway. And I look forward to seeing you in the box. Thank you for listening to this episode of The Excellent Way. If you or a loved one need help building your excellent life, reach out to us at www.crossfitelm.com.